All right, so a while back we did a $75 Minecraft server, and today, because it's the holiday season, I'm gonna one-up that with a $30 Minecraft server. What kind of server can we get for 30 bucks? Well, you know what? It's not gonna be the next 2B2T, but this Dell Wyse 5070 with 8 gigs of RAM and 64 gigabytes of SATA storage, it's gonna hold its own for you and some of your homies. So let's take a peek at it. Let's get into it. All right, so what do we need to get started? Well, first things first, we need this Dell Wyse 5070 here. That's going to be the base of our build. This particular unit looks like it was used probably at a T-Mobile store as a little thin client here. It boots up into an OS with T-Mobile branding everywhere. This unit's got, and it came with a Wi-Fi card, which is an added bonus. The unit itself shipped to me for $30. Shipping was $8. It came, however, without the necessary power brick. I know I'm labeling this as a $30 Minecraft build, but hit your local Goodwill and I promise you, you'll find like a million of these Dell power supplies with the barrel jack for just a handful of dollars, or just grab one on eBay. They're super cheap. On the back of this device, it's got 4 SATA 3 ports. Mine's got a VGA port that's was added after the fact as an option. Gigabit LAN, obviously power input. There's 3 Displayport outs, so keep that in mind if your video input is only HDMI. And then like an RS-232 or a serial port here, and then obviously a headphone jack here on the back. I/O on the front, a couple of USB ports, USB 3.0 port, USB-C port, headphones, and then a microphone jack or a headset jack as well. To complete the installation, I've got a DP to HDMI connector here, and then of course just a flash drive, and in this instance this cool Sandisk one that's got USB-A on one side, USB-C on the other, which allows me to not use any dongles when flashing with my Mac. Let's jump inside of this here. Removing the cover shows all of the insides of this device. And inside we have 2 RAM sticks. So these are, I think, DDR4s. This unit came with 8 gigs of RAM. Here is a SATA drive. This looks like an NVMe drive, but it's most certainly not. It's a SATA drive, so keep that in mind if you happen to purchase one of these. This must be a SATA drive. Here's our wireless card and Bluetooth card and our VGA daughter board. Here is the CPU cooler here. Fun fact, this little cooler has a pad on top, and it also makes contact right here with the case to help with additional cooling. So today what we'll do is we're going to jump in. We're going to flash this SATA drive and remove T-Mobile's thin client OS, and then we're going to put ZIMAOS on here and fire up some containers for your Minecraft server. All right, so let's first boot this device and let's see what happens. Hopefully everything works. I know it boots into T-Mobile's OS for their thin client, but I've never booted one of these with a flash drive and tried to install ZIMAOS, so let's see what happens. Here we go, boys and girls. Power button. Wait for the monitor to light up here. And then we'll smash our F2. Bingo, we're in, boys. All right, let's take a peek at what the BIOS options are. So for ZIMAOS, we need to enable UEFI boot, but disable any secure boot. On these particular Dell Wyse units, the BIOS password, they all should be locked. The BIOS password is Fireport with a capital F, and you can find that, or if you're wondering how we find that, it's in the documentation for these devices and publicly available if you just happen to do a Google search. So let's check out the BIOS here and see what options we have. First, let's unlock it. All right, so Fireport worked. That's good news. We've got our system information here. You can see that we've got 8 gigs of RAM. Running in dual channel. Each DIMM is 4 gigs. Here's our processor information, Pentium Silver J5005, 4 cores. So UEFI boot is on. Check date time. Looks like the time is off a little bit. Let's go down to secure boot. Make sure we're off. Secure boot is off. All right, let's exit the BIOS, save our settings, and boot from the flash drive and install ZIMAOS and see what happens. Hopefully this works. All right, boot menu is here. What? We will boot from our USB drive. And notably, you'll see that it asked for our administrator password to continue to boot from this flash drive. Obviously, that password is Fireport, and if you needed, we can remove that as well from the BIOS of this device. So let's install Zima. And installing ZIMAOS, super simple, super quick, as you can see from the prompts that we went through on the screen. Very, very easy to get it up and running. So for those that wonder why we chose ZIMAOS for this build, it's the ease and simplicity of installation. Super easy to flash to a flash drive, super easy to install to your hardware, and then once it's up and running, all of your administration work is done via another computer through a web browser. ZIMAOS makes it super easy to manage your disks. It also makes this device an easy NAS, and specifically for our use case, it makes it cake to install Docker and one-click install multiple Docker containers to make this little mini PC much more than a Minecraft server that we'll review today. All right, our install is done. We'll pull our flash drive out and we'll reboot. The best part of all is we're using about 5 watts from the wall. So this little device here is super, super power efficient. All right, hold our fingers crossed here and hopefully we boot up into Zima. That's a good sign there. All right, look at that, first time, no issues. During boot, power usage, a little over 15, 16 watts. We just hit 17, bam. All right, so we can see here, right here on the screen, that we've got our local IP address set up, and that's where we will take it next. All right, so now that we've got our ZIMAOS client up and running, here's my little eBay screen. The only reason I'm showing this is, you know, sometimes things happen on eBay and sellers don't always have all the information. And in this instance, I think whoever sold this unit to me probably had another unit with a 64 gigabyte hard drive. But notably on install, there's only 32 gigabytes. But if your Minecraft world's bigger than 32 gigs, more power to you. So good luck. 32 gigs is going to work perfect for our uses. But just something to note, sometimes things happen. Your seller might be reasonable and maybe offer a partial refund for an instance of something like this. But in this instance, I'm not going to chase it up here. Let's go to our install URL that was shown right after we installed Zima here. And on this first page, we're going to be prompted to not only accept the privacy policy, but then to create our user account. We'll toss in a super secret password here. And you'll see here this smart connector screen. This OS is actually super cool. There's a mobile app and you can connect to your server remotely through the internet. So you can link it and log in remotely. You can keep tabs on it here locally as well. So a really cool option here from ZIMAOS. All right, we're at our ZIMAOS screen here, just our home screen. And the first thing that we're going to do to get our Minecraft server up and running is we're going to head to this app store here and we're going to search for Crafty. And let's install Crafty. You'll see all I did, App Store, couple of clicks, and it's installing. Quick and easy. Our install is done. We're this much closer to having your Minecraft server ready to rock. Once Crafty's installed, you'll see the icon here. We just click it, and the first thing that we see here is that Crafty has generated a default password, but we just need to go and find it. It's super easy to find, especially with the web interface here on ZIMAOS. You'll see here that we get some sort of warning that our connection isn't private. That's because we didn't generate any SSH keys. Not a big deal because we're not going to expose this service over the internet. So click Advanced and just proceed. And now we're at our Crafty screen. But first we need to go find our login credentials. Back on the ZIMAOS homepage, we're going to go to the Files icon and App Data and Crafty folder. So App Data is going to be where any of your applications that you install store their files. So within Crafty, we'll go to the Config folder and we're going to look for this default creds.txt file. We can simply click it and you'll see here now we've got our default password, and you're going to want to copy everything that's between the quotation marks. So don't include the quotation marks, but everything in between them. Head back to your Crafty login. Your default login name is admin, and your password is that string that you just copied, and log in. You'll see this red banner about multi-authentication. Feel free to enable it. I never have. Again, you're hosting this locally, and you're not going to expose this Crafty UI remotely over the internet. First thing that I like to do on my Crafty installation is head over here to Settings, Account Settings, and what we're going to do is we're going to change our password because that password that we copied and pasted, too long to remember. So drop in an easily rememberable password or a super secret one, whatever works for you. Now our password is changed, and now we can get to the good part. So within Crafty, we head over to the left side here under Servers, Create New Servers, and we've got several options available. So we can pick from a Minecraft Java server or a Minecraft Bedrock server. Either of those will work. For our instance, we're going to head with Java because Java is our favorite. We're going to select Minecraft servers, and then we've got a couple of different options here. And this is where I think Crafty really excels in terms of managing your own Minecraft servers. You've got a slew of options available to you. There's Fabric, Paper, Folia, Forge installers, NeoForge, Purper. For today, we're going to run with Paper. We can select whichever versions, and in this instance, Paper goes back to all the way to 1.7, and then all the way right now with the most recent 121.11. Let's name our server, and let's set up some memory for it. Let's give it 3 gigs to start, and we've named it, and we can build it. We'll head into our server here and click this blue button down at the bottom. We'll start it. You'll get a prompt. Do you agree to the EULA? Yes, we do. And now our server will download the jar, patch it, and run it. Right now from the wall, we're 12 watts, 11 watts. All right, let's load our Minecraft client. And the address that we will use to connect to this server will be the same IP address that we used to connect to the web interface. So if you remember, in our instance, we were assigned 192.168.0.200, and that's our web interface. And our CraftyController instance is also on the same IP. Everything will ride that same IP unless you instruct it otherwise. So our server address when we connect will be 192.168.0.200. Launching into Minecraft. This is where we'll add in our IP address. And again, you'll note IP address matches from up here in our CraftyController to our Minecraft client. You can see our server's online. You'll see here in the terminal that we've connected to the server, and then now our world is loading. All right, we're in. So this is our first time we've dropped into this server, and you can see we've still got some chunks loading in. But they're loading fairly quickly. All right, TPS is rock solid here. Let's fly a little bit. You can see we're not the fastest at generating chunks, but we generate all right. Whereas TPS is still at 20, so we're rock solid. We wouldn't be experiencing any lag here. Guys, that's legitimately it. Easy as that to set up your Minecraft server on a tiny little Wyse 5070 like this. Cake. Done. Easy. Back on ZIMAOS before we conclude right now. Under App Store, more than 100 default containers available. If you're interested in a Nextcloud instance, Maria database, even a Plex server. So this machine itself has an Intel iGPU that can transcode video. So if you slotted in a fairly large hard drive or added one through USB ports, this would work out perfect for you. So a lot of value here for the $30 that we spent on this machine. Totally get that I'm not, hard set in my $30 budget, but the machine itself was 30 bucks for the hard drive, the RAM, the machine. I had this Dell power brick laying around from an old laptop ages ago. The rest is history. That's all you need.